All right, welcome to a new day. Ooh, let's see here. We got limoncello LaCroix. It's gonna be great. We actually just had a thunderstorm here, big thunderstorm, which brings shark's teeth. Check out this beauty from this morning. Woo! Yeah, that's a pretty big one. So we've been finding a lot of little ones, but the storm just churned up the sand, and that one came up. I think the other day we were just talking about shark's teeth. Well, we are on chapter 5 together, utilize strategic thinking. So today I want us to walk through the 7 steps of strategic thinking that are in this chapter, but I love the quote that starts us off. Most people spend more time planning their summer vacation than planning their lives. Now, we are on summer vacation, and a lot of planning does go into it, but it's a little test. If you spend more time planning your trip than you're planning your life, you probably need to put a little bit more time into planning your journey, where you're going, the impact you're going to make. So I love the opening quote there. And John Maxwell starts with this question. When you hear the words strategic thinking, what comes to mind? What comes to mind? And then he goes right into this part. He says, I've observed that most people try to plan their lives one day at a time. They wake up, make their to-do list, and dive into action. This actually made me think of the microscope telescope from John Gordon. So John Gordon has a book called The Power of Positive Leadership. There it is. I was thinking Power of Positive Teams. That's another one of his books, and a good one. But The Power of Positive Leadership. And in it, he says that a leader carries with them both a microscope and a telescope. The telescope so they can see far down the road, so they can see what's coming and prepare for it and plan for it. And the microscope so they can look at each and every day to see if they are closing the distance and where they want to be and where they're at right now. So you have to have a microscope and a telescope. And I think our strategic planning can really help us with our microscope. It can really help us say, okay, I know the direction I want to go, but have I mapped out the steps to get there? So in the book, there are 7 steps. I want to go through those together, okay? Number 1, break down the issues. The first step in strategic thinking is to break down an issue into smaller, more manageable parts so that you can focus on them more effectively. It reminded me of the old adage, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Right? One bite at a time. The bites are the smaller chunks that you're breaking these problems into. Sometimes we tend to look at the problem like a whole parade. This thing is so big, so extravagant, when we could be looking at it one float at a time. How are we going to solve this thing? I think when we do that, though, we also get solution momentum. Instead of drawing this whole process out, we're building on the momentum, solving one thing after another, and it keeps us from getting overwhelmed. So step 1, break down the issue. Step 2, ask why before how. He says most people begin using strategic thinking to solve a problem or plan a way to meet an objective. They often make the mistake of jumping the gun and trying to immediately figure out how to accomplish it. We don't want to jump the gun. We want to ask why before we ask how. This reminded me of the ask why 5 times method. Ask why 5 times. Okay, here's the problem. Why did that happen? Okay, why did that happen? Why did that happen? You go 5 layers deep, you're going to get to the root of the problem. This is what they refer to as root cause analysis. That goes beyond the surface. Now we're not just solving stuff up here. We're going and finding out why it is wrong before we implement the how we are going to solve it. The third is to identify the real issues and objectives. Root cause, right? Kind of goes along with that. But I think here what made me think of is we got to write the problem down. We got to put it into words. Is this what we're actually trying to solve? What's the real issue? And what's the objective and the action that we're going to take? Because we could end up solving the wrong problem or end up solving just the surface problem. What's the real issue? There's an Albert Einstein quote that he said, if I were given 1 hour to save the planet, I would spend 59 minutes defining the problem and 1 minute on the solution. 59 minutes defining the problem, putting it into words, and 1 minute on the solution. All right, step 4, review your resources. It says a strategy that doesn't take into account resources is doomed to failure. So take inventory. I think there's 2 questions you have to ask there. Number 1, what do I have? What do I have? That's attaching the resources that you have to solve the problem. And then number 2, what do I need? What am I missing? Maybe someone around you has that resource. So what do I have and what do I need? Number 5, develop your plan. Develop your plan. John Maxwell points out that problems are all different. Planning is all going to be different. But he says start with the obvious. Start with the obvious. Obvious elements build mental momentum and initiate creativity and intensity. Start with the obvious. What is the next step you need to take? Step number 6, put the right people in the right place. He says here, before you can implement your plan, you must make sure that you have the right people in place. Here's the thing about people. They can help you or they can hold you up. So think about the people who are alongside of you right now. Are they helping you achieve what it is you're trying to achieve? Step 7, the final step in our strategic thinking, keep repeating the process. If you expect to solve any major problem once, you're in for disappointment. If you want to be an effective strategic thinker, you need to become a continuous strategic thinker. This is not something that is a one and done. No, this is going to be a part of your growth journey on and on and on. So it's worth it to look at these 7 steps and to take time and invest in strategic thinking. Let me end today with page 51. Let's see, right here. I love this. Strategic thinking helps me to plan, to become more efficient, to maximize my strengths, and to find the most direct path towards achieving any objective. That is the benefit of strategic thinking. It's going to help you maximize your strength, become efficient, and help you find the right road to get done what you need to get done. Well, thanks for joining me today. I will see you tomorrow as we jump into chapter 6.